Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Class and Session Podcast. It's your favorite host, it's the Urban Scholar, and we got with us today a guest who's been on the show before on another platform, and we decided to bring Miss Maymunah Brookins back today so she could talk about her wonderful company, Maymunah, and we're going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. So my name is Amanda Brookins. I'm the founder of Maymunah. We make handmade bath and body care. Mainly, my stuff is kind of unique because we infuse a lot of herbs and plants and a lot of luxury oils and nutritional oils. Um, for combating skin issues and hair care issues. So if you have bumps, scratches, liver spots, excessive hair loss, dark spots, things like that, we try to use the most natural products as possible. And honestly, when I say the most natural products, we don't put the extra stuff in there. The only thing that will have fragrances in it is something that's requested with fragrances. So if it is, something for eczema or something for bumps or something like that, it's going to be all natural, essential oils, things like that. So we have those.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we have those, and then I also have a community organization as well that I put a lot of effort into. We're trying to provide some solutions to some of the social issues that we see in our communities, not just here in Jamaica, but all over. But just within our communities overall, we have a lot of issues with access to education, with poverty, with crime, with a lot of these things. So we're trying to find solutions for that too.
So let me ask you a question. When did you start Maymunah, and what was the reason behind it?
So I started Maymunah naturally about 3 years ago. Well, really, when it really started was I grew up making this stuff. That's when really, if you want to say when it started. That's what I grew up making this stuff. My mother used to make it. I would ask her how she did it. She would she would tell me, but I would just watch her. It wasn't really like she put me in class with her. It was like, watch me do this and ask questions.
Yeah.
So you know how we don't really get the lesson plan written down. 5 tablespoons for this, no. She said, watch what I do. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would ask questions after. I would say, well, what did you use for this? What did you use for that? So that's how I kind of learned. I started making my own stuff. I started gifting it to other people. I started using it in my own hair. And then people started asking me if they could have some. Then they started asking if I could start selling it because they wanted it. So that's kind of how it came about. I would just make it. And then I started really selling it. And when I got pregnant, I started making stuff for my son. And when you're formulating for kids, that's different. It's very much different than what I was initially doing for myself. So I had to make some stuff for him. He has like some eczema and some dark and the bugs out here in Jamaica, really attack his skin. So I had to formulate products to keep the bugs away, but also to heal the scars and to heal the skin. So it was really nice, but I have products for it. So it's good.
So I'm gonna say to you, and it's not because you're my niece or anything, but I love your products, and like they've done wonders for me. Like I love shea, but I'm a shea butter fanatic. So like I love anything natural. I'm really into that whole natural herb thing. But your products, from the smell, the texture, the quality of it, it's different. And I completely prefer that over like store bought stuff. Like I'm really into the naturally made, the chemicals. I know what's in it. I ain't got to worry about some rat poison being in some stuff. And I think this is the future, like in terms of what we're dealing with nowadays. A lot of people are going vegan in all types of areas. Like my son, he even buys like vegan sneakers. Like his
Oh
diet is
wow.
vegan, his wallet is vegan, his sneakers are vegan. Like this is a thing, right? So your products are in an area that encompasses everybody, right? Because people who are not vegan obviously want natural products as well. And honestly, like people, when I go to work, when I'm out, and people look at me and they see my skin and things like that, and they're like, "What are you using?" And I always tell them, I say, my niece got the best products. So this is not just some talk. You're on here because your products are high quality. I love them, and I'm really proud of you and what you've accomplished. And of course, I got to give shout outs to your parents because they spearheaded this, aka your mom. You know,
It
I got to get
wasn't
them
for her.
because your parents were so instrumental in how they wanted to raise y'all and just watching y'all grow up and all three of y'all going in like y'all directions, man. But if I was a child, you know, and of course no childhood is perfect, I would like wanted to have parents like that in that sense that understood that vision of like that homeschool aspect, making sure your children are homegrown and not publicly
Mhm.
school grown to where their minds are going all over the place. And I think that contributes to what your causes are today, because you said you have a social cause as well, right? Can you talk about that a little bit? Where it's at, where you started, what was the reasons behind it, and what are you doing right now?
Yeah, so like I said, we have our community organization out here. It's based in Jamaica, but that doesn't stop us from helping in other places. I want to make that clear. It's called Diamond Dynasty. You can find more information online, but essentially, like I said, we provide solutions to issues like poverty, like crime, access to education, and things like that. Our end goal and our mission um, is really to have a sort of to make an impact on the problem, but also to have like a hub and a place where people can go if they need it. We can empower them to do better. So it's not really like a crutch. I didn't want it to be a handout system. I didn't want it to be I don't want to say crutch, but I don't want it to be like where people are okay, we're just gonna give them groceries. Let's come into this country, let's give them groceries, let's do this and that. And let's go home because we did something. No, I really want people to be self sufficient, to actually to make a dent in um, the issues that are going on. So what we're doing right now, I've done a few programs already. We do food drives, we give away food and hygiene. So canned goods, groceries, things like that. We deliver them to the elderly, and people who can't get food, we deliver to them. And we do other stuff in the community when it comes to kids treat days and back to school days. So we give out like school supplies, school books, things like that. We've even done things with other individuals in the community when it comes to painting the schools. Some schools up here in the community paint the schools and things like that. Um, so we started out small because again, this started like 2 years ago. I started this about 2 years ago. I really was, you know, getting my, knee deep into this, getting the vision kind of fine line instead of just, oh, I want to help out. Well, what do you actually want to do? Once I actually started to streamline that vision, um, I realized that this was going to take a lot longer than I thought, first of all.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was going to take a lot more. And the funny thing when I started this, crime was never on the list. I do want to say that. I just Crime was never on the list, and crime wasn't on the list because I never saw how I could help the problem. We always talk about violence. We always talk about crime, and everybody would tell me, you're only one person. How can you help all crime? How can you do this? And I was like, you know what? Then the crime not my problem. I don't know the solution, so I'm not going to touch that area. I'm just going to do the food. I'm going to do little community baby shower. That's another thing I do want to do. I do want to do the baby shower. But stuff that I saw was easy, I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But quickly, very quickly, I realized that it doesn't work like that because crime is tied into poverty. It's tied into everything, a lot of other problems. It's kind of all interconnected.
Absolutely.
So what I realized is that if I can help in certain areas and in some areas, if I can do my best in these areas, they may actually have an impact on the problem. Um, so we have a lot of stuff. I do want to do workshops, for people who don't have basic education, or maybe they don't have financial education, or they don't have certain things, basic life skills. I definitely want to do workshops for adults and children. I wanted to do like lawyer services even for people who maybe they're trying to navigate they get themselves in situations and trying to
Yeah.
navigate the justice system. We could do lawyer services, provide lawyer service to people, connect them with people who can help them and things like that. Give out vouchers, for example, or free consultations for this issue. Little things like that I feel like can help mentor services for youth. I think that will help a lot. People say the topic of fathers and single mothers, these are the hot topics.
It's
Everybody's talking
it's
about single mothers.
it's that
Every
area is so broad. There's so much to do, right? So
right?
uh, as as a mentor and as a coach, that led me to my next question, right? Because you have Maymunah, you have your social organization, right? And part of building a business, right, there's a mission, right?
Mm.
Yeah, you can do a lot of things, right? But once the key thing is you're doing it by yourself, right? And I'm an expert at doing things by myself. So because I have to be a producer, I have to be everything, right? So
Yeah,
what
that's
is
true.
with your social cause? What's the one thing that you want to accomplish? The one thing that's the most important to you. So I know you've been doing
I think the most yeah, we've been doing those things. I think the most important to me is to help who needs it. Whether it's 10 people, whether it's one person, whether it's 50,000, you know, we have so many situations where we say, well, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, or this person was here for me when I needed it. We take for granted a lot of times everything that we have and everything that, the blessings that we have. There are some people who don't have everything we have. They don't have those
yeah,
opportunities. And there are times when I've been in situations where I needed help and somebody was there for me. I was able to, um, you know, uh, lean on this person so I got myself back on my feet, or I needed something from this person who were able to help me. And I think that, you know, people nowadays were so bent up on being independent and I could do it all myself and things like that. I really don't think that there is an issue with asking for help sometimes. Sometimes
yeah,
we do need help. We have to help our communities. I think yeah, so I think if I'm able to just help one person, or just a few people, I'd be happy with that. Even if I wasn't able to do all of the programs and services, if I wasn't able to do the lawyer services for
yeah,
everybody, if I wasn't able to do all of that, I think I would still be satisfied with giving away some clothes, giving away some food, connecting somebody with, somebody who can help them get a better job or go to school or something like that. I'm okay with that. So, um, yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Regardless of everything else that happens, whether, you know, I, I get all my goals down or not, I just want to help as many as I can. That's it. Because we need it. I think we really do need it. The state that we're in now, in our community, I don't see it. I feel like it's getting worse and worse.
So one of the things that's been
It's
going on,
getting worse.
it's a lot of work, but one of the things that's been, because that but what you're doing is important, right? I have a lot of friends right, that have organizations or just businesses or just individuals, and they've been doing the same thing. Like I think a month ago, we did like a a clothes drive, right,
Mhm.
and it was like random but kind of organized. We kind of talked, and it was like, hey, we want to do this. You got a clothing business, I do, and we brought in, there was another brother. So it was three of us who are designers, have our own clothing brands, right, in the area. We decided to give back. So I gave away like regular clothes, and we also gave away obviously our brand, right? So and we kind of like fed people, gave them coffee. We made sandwiches and stuff for them. It was cold out, right? And we wanted to target, right, which is important. Who are you targeting? So we targeted like, we obviously wanted the homeless people because we feel like obviously that's the area that where people need the help, right? And we're giving away clothes and it's cold outside. So, we did that, and I had like a bin full of stuff, right? And I said, wow, we did it for a few hours and everything, we had out went, right? And I know I have other friends that they just recently did like a food clothes drive as well. And it's a constant thing. I have personal friends that are doing it. And to me, it's one of the most noble acts, like that a human can do, right? Everybody knows, I'm very busy. I have multiple ventures. I have the clothing brand. I have the entertainment company. I have the podcast. I have my job. I have my family, and I'm coaching people and mentoring people all the time. So I asked that specifically because it's important that, and I quest to want to do all these things, right? That we're doing them in a way that it makes sense, right, to
Mhm.
us. And I love what you're doing. I like your vision, and I want to make sure that I do my part to help your vision come to fruition, right? So, do you have any new products? Because your uncle needs some stuff. You know what I mean? I know
Yes,
I'm sure. So I wasn't really sure what was going on because I know you half the year in Jamaica, half the year in the States, you big time. And are
yeah.
you so are you shipping? Like what's going on with Maymunah? So like are you still actively shipping and selling
Yes.
products online? What are we doing?
So yeah, so I am actively shipping now. I just started, well, really tomorrow, January 1st. That's when I'm gonna start actively shipping. Um, right now I'm shipping from Jamaica. All of the products come straight from here, and actually a lot of our ingredients are sourced locally. So we get our Jamaican black castor oil here, and I'm telling you, I get it from a lady at the market. She makes it
Yeah,
herself. She makes it herself. She bottles it herself. It's not coming from no other entity. Coming
yeah,
straight from the pot. So she makes our coconut oil. She makes our Jamaican black castor oil, and then we also have our honey which comes straight from the bees. And when I say straight from the bees, there is no middle. The middleman is the person selling. So the person, as a local vendor here in my community, he has a bee farm, and yeah, he just puts it in the bottle. The bees make it, they put it in the bottle, and he sells it to me. So we're able to really support our local community, support some local vendors, support more small businesses, just more local business, not even small business, more local business, people in your community, people who really are your neighbors, you know. I really do believe in that. So, we always have had that. We've always tried to do that. Even when I was formerly in New Jersey, I was constantly getting my herbs and my plants from local businesses.
yeah,
Um, we do that out here, and yeah, like I said, we ship all over the world. We have some eczema products coming up. I have an oatmeal eczema soap that I have.
mm,
That's going to be ready to ship soon. I have a brightening bar, which everyone is excited about. It does not bleach your skin, but it does brighten dark spots and scars, bumps, blackheads, things like that. Um, and We have some hair products, like I have a hair oil. We have some hair grease. We have a lot of stuff. And like I said, it's all infused with herbs and plants that are just really good for stimulating your skin and cooling your skin and everything like that. And when you use the product, definitely just take notice of the way your skin feels after a few weeks. You know, if you're gonna let your skin kind of purge, you're gonna let your skin kind of, you know, if you've been using a lot of chemicals when you switch to a natural product, you're gonna notice your skin start to change. Even when you try to switch back, you'll notice it change. So take notice of those things, and uh, and just enjoy the benefits because natural stuff is the real stuff. Natural stuff works. The natural stuff is what our skin loves. Is what our skin takes in. In my soap, you're going to see mostly cocoa butter, olive oil, and coconut oil. Those are the three main ingredients. I might add avocado oil. I might add some other mushroom oil just to give it a little finesse, maybe some oats, maybe some milk. But the main ingredients are cocoa butter, olive oil, coconut oil. Coconut oil has antibacterial effects, it's cleansing. Olive oil is nourishing, it's healing. Cocoa butter is nourishing. Cocoa butter is really good for the skin. It's all stuff that is nourishing for the skin. Because it's the biggest organ on our body. We take
Yeah,
in, you know, stuff from the air. We take in dirt and all types of stuff in our pores. So um, I would I would use something on my skin that is as natural as possible.
that's cool. Well, I'm
Hmm.
going to be definitely placing my order this week. Now that I know
Yes,
we still rocking and rolling, because I'm gonna need some things. So
of course, of
I
course.
can never,
I'm gonna
never
I'm,
enough.
I'm gonna be adding a couple more items onto the website as well. The beginning week of January. I got my labels. That one of the reasons why I was taking a while was because supply and labeling and all that kind of stuff. Switching from New Jersey, I was transitioning to Jamaica, so I had to find some new suppliers for stuff. Um, uh, but I'm going to be adding some other products as well. So, yeah, that'll be coming in January. A couple of days next week.
All right.
So,
So what's the next plan with your social organization? What's the next event you got coming up? What you got work? What you working
I'm,
on?
I'm working on two things. First thing I'm working on is a community baby shower. This is more of a long term project because when I was pregnant, I went to a community baby shower in North. You know the sorority. I don't know if they're into the sorority scene, but they do a lot of things for their community. A lot of them do a
Yeah,
lot of community and stuff. So this was one that was sponsored by the Delta. They're the red ones, right? The
yeah,
Delta.
yeah.
This one was sponsored by the Delta, and there were other sponsors there. They had a lot of people from they had politicians there. They had people from SNAP, that's the food benefits. Uh, they had people from the fire department, people from the police department. Basically, they did workshops, talking to mothers and parents about car seat safety, postpartum depression, supporting our mothers, supporting our families, where to get benefits if needed. They gave away a lot of stuff, diapers, cribs. They gave away strollers. They gave away bassinet. I mean, they gave away everything a baby would need. When I left that baby shower, I said, if if I never got a baby shower personally from my family, and I
Hmm.
didn't talk to my family, and I was having issues, and I was alone, my child would have had everything they needed when I left.
Wow.
So that really kind of got the wheels turning,
Yeah,
kind of the light bulb went off in my head. And I said, I'm blessed to have a, family where, I got more than I needed because I had my own personal baby shower plus this one. There are some people who don't have that. So I wanted to bring that here. And we work with a lot of uh, organizations, political organizations already in Jamaica. So I definitely want to put that together where they can come out, the health ministry can come out, the parish council can come out, all those people can kind of come out be involved. Businesses, individuals, volunteers can be involved in that. And then the next one, I constantly want to do the food drive. I constantly want to do the food drive.
Yeah,
That's something I'm very consistent with. People always need food. People always, inflation is going up. Whether is going up or not, I mean, everyone, I know people who are making almost six figures at one point had to go to the food shelter at one point in their life. Um, I've seen people who, although they are wealthy, they've needed help
yeah,
from the street. So I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. I think it's something we should do all the time. So we're taking donations for both right now. You can check out our website at shopmaymunahnaturally.com. You can just click on the link to Diamond Dynasty. So those are what we're actively working on. Long term, within whether it takes 5 years, whether it takes 10 years, whether it takes 15 years, we want a physical location where we can have classes for workshops, we can have housing for people who are in need, like
yeah.
neglect cases, domestic violence cases, where we set aside, food where, okay, has a kitchen, has a bedroom, you stay here. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put you in this mental health program. We're gonna put you in this employment program. We're gonna put you in XYZ program so you can get back on your feet so you don't have to rely on us anymore. And we can help the next person. Um, we want to do things like that. I mentioned lawyer services. We want to do with the food bank. We eventually want to have the whole program encompass hot food distribution, um, things like that. Where we go out in communities and we distribute the different hot foods. Maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whatever we can do. In order for that, though, we would need a physical location. We would need a kitchen. We would need staff. We would need volunteers. We would need the budget for that. So for those programs, you can read more about that on our GoFundMe. We have a GoFundMe for those more long-term programs that can take a little longer.
That's great.
But again, that doesn't mean that's going to stop us from helping now, which is why we
Yeah.
have the food drive and the community baby shower and, the kids treat giveaways and stuff.
So when you do the food drives, give us an idea of like what are the sources of food? What are you providing? Where is it coming from? Like, are they all donations? Are you like so people have an idea of what it looks like and what you
What it
really
looks like. Yeah, so we get donations. It can be monetary donations. Most of the monetary donations we get from like overseas. But then we also get physical donations. So people with canned goods, they come in, they bring cooking oil, they bring rice, they bring flour, they bring milk, whatever. Um, Things like that. When we organize these events, we have individuals in the community who help us, other businesses in the community who help us, they can sponsor us. We have a physical location where we set up, where we bag up all the groceries. And mind you, the groceries that we bag up, it's not just food. We're giving laundry detergent, we're giving toiletries, pads, sanitary, all that kind of stuff. We bag it up and we, like I said, there's a business up the road, Miller's Exclusive Empire. So we have the last one on that we've been doing. The people can come in, the people take bags, and then we also do the deliveries to people who are disabled or can't make it out the house. But all of the donations, they all go to the food. They all go to the food. Everyone is volunteers. You don't pay anybody to come out and help us. So everything is volunteer work. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I have pictures and stuff, you guys. Take a look at some of the pictures and some of the things that we've done previously. Um, but that's pretty much how it works. Some of the things, like I said, that we do is mostly canned goods, non-perishables, things like that. I would love to get to a point where we're giving away more healthier food options, but that would have to come with more funds or like a community garden. If we have a social program where we have a community garden, we can definitely give out more fresh foods and things like that. Um, But for right now, it's the dry goods and the canned goods. And, um, but
Okay.
rice, flour, some sweet corn, some tuna. That's a meal. Mix it up with some sweet pepper, some tomatoes. That's a meal. I don't know. That is a meal.
So you're on social media, right?
I am. I am
So
on Facebook.
just let us know what platforms you're on, and rattle and tell us what the website is. Tell us what your social media platforms are, so people can know how to reach out to you outside of here.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Instagram is Maymunah Naturally at Maymunah Naturally. Facebook is also Maymunah Naturally at Maymunah Naturally. I have a website which is shop.maymunahnaturally.com. And I'm getting onto Google. I'm not on Google yet. I will be getting onto Google soon. So you'll be able to see that. And then my GoFundMe, if you can check out more information about our community organization and the GoFundMe on our website, just go on shopmaymunahnaturally.com and click on Diamond Dynasty link at the top. It'll have all the information on our programs and services, and where you can donate and read more about our company.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So,
Mhm.
are there any questions you have or anything else that you want to share with us before we close out today?
Um, well, well, first I want to say thank you for having me, and thank
Oh,
you for the opportunity. Um, I guess I would have a question for you. From your experience, you have a long experience, with working within our community, and working one-on-one with different, people, mental health wise and things like that, and mentorship and everything. And you've heard some of the issues that I want to try to combat. And from your perspective, I've heard, understand, you talk a lot about specifically violence, crime, gang activity, those types of things. I don't think, I think here in Jamaica, there's there's a little bit of a stigma, or maybe in the media, not even a stigma, but there's a reputation for violence. There's a reputation for crime. I hate that there is, but there is. And a lot of times in the media, constantly that's what you see. So my question would be, as someone who maybe hasn't experienced exactly everything about being out here, but just in that type of environment, what do you think are some solutions to the violence, some solutions to crime, some solutions to the gang activity, even for people who maybe are not in a gang, but maybe they just live in that community, so they have to deal with it. They don't have a way out. Yeah, what would be some solutions, from
well,
your perspective?
the answer is simple, but it's not that easy, right? So I'll talk about me real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I grew up here in America. So in America, you see a lot of TV, and more than 50% of it is violence. That's being glamorized, right? If you live in a certain demographic, you see certain things all the time, right? You see crime and violence go together, right? They're married.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the same. So when you grow up in environments like this institution that we live in, you you indirectly can become violent. So that's what happened to me, right? Not only did I see it in the home, right, in terms of domestic violence, I saw that, but it was normalized, right? So I never looked at it like it was domestic violence. It was normal. It was the norm. So I didn't think it affected me. So, right, as I get older, I start processing things. I'm saying, oh, that wasn't cool. Mom and pop was off the hook, right? But it was because it was a mutual interaction, right? To us, it was like, hey, they doing it again. You know, we watching like it's TV, like it's WWF, right? And so certain things become normal, right? So there are a group of people who predicate violence. They become violent as a result of situations, right? Then there are those who are trained to be violent, right? So when somebody joins the military, they get trained, right? They get trained to go do certain things in a certain wherever they go, right? So there's different forms of violence and how people become violent, right? And some people have incidents that happen in their life where somebody bullied them. And as a result, as they got older, that spontaneous combustion, the buildup, right? So I got bullied when I was young by this one person who was older than me. And I didn't realize that I became violent as a teenager, right? So, but because it wasn't an ongoing thing, it was situational. And sometimes I would catch myself doing things to people that wasn't violent, but it was under the pretense of violence. Like, yeah, you need to do this or X, Y, and Z is going to happen, right? And I started picking on people when I got older, not realizing it was part of it had to do with what happened to me. So I know I'm saying a lot, right? Because the answer is not that simple. We could talk about how we got here and why, right? But the solution to it for me was learning a new way of thinking. But before that, I had to own it, right? So an individual has to say, hey, I have anger issues, right? And a lot of people don't want to own their stuff, right? So you got to first own it, right? And then once you own it, then you can address it. And you have to go find a system, a coach, a therapist, whatever you need, a confidant, right, to go address that, right? And it has to be done in an environment that is somebody who understands how to graduate you from where you are to where you need to be. So for me, at 21, when I decided to leave that life, I chose a spiritual system. I chose Islam because I studied different religions, right? And I said, this one here seems to kind of give me more, it controls me better. So let me say what I mean. So Islam doesn't control you, but when you embrace it, you become, right? You're like, oh, this is new information. I had to learn behavior all over again, how to speak to people, how do you act in this situation, what's the appropriate character in this environment, right? And then accept it. I had friends who didn't listen to music, and it would be a battle every time they got in the car. Oh man, you can't be listening to that rap and all that stuff. Man, I'm listening to Buju Banton. Like I'm like, nah, bro, you done got me all messed up, boy. I'm like, yeah, you got a TV, like I'm reggae out. Like, and I'm like, nah, we ain't cutting Buju out. You know what I mean? I don't know what you're talking about. So it got into all these battles, right? With but then what I always did was I listened, right? I listened. And that scenario was Uthman, who was much younger than me. He was in high school. And there's this high school kid trying to tell me how to be, right? And I had to sit back and listen because knowledge doesn't matter the age, right? Knowledge is knowledge. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. So once again, I'm learning to humble myself and calm down and just say, let me hear it out. Because when we listen to music, it makes you do what? Act, right? And depending on what type of music you're listening to, you either twerking, you either ready to pull out a gun, or you ready chilling like you're on some mountain. It all depends on what you listen to. It takes you places, right? So once I understood the effects of my environment, the music, and all these things that come into play, right? I had to adapt and adopt my system and what worked for me. I even went through a stage where profanity was it was out of the, it was done, right? And I committed to certain things to bettering myself. I didn't go get counseling. I didn't go to therapy. I just started learning the religion and applying these different areas. I worked on my character. I worked on my knowledge, learning new things, and that helped me become less violent and more under control. And I was able to process life better, right? So that's what worked for me, right? I became a coach as a result of my own upbringing and what I went through. And I felt like there were tons of people out there who could probably benefit from my story, right? From my experiences, from my examples. So I've just spent all this time, I think, since 94, the year after I became Muslim, I started helping people. I never stopped. So the solution is you have to own it and then want to address it. There's no black and white answer. But as an individual, one has to own their issues first, right? And then be having enough courage to want to face them. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. There's no, oh, you do this, you go do that, you go do this, you go do that. It's an internal thing. And some people never get to that place. They either end up in jail, dead, or whatever, or on some type of substance, trying to manage themselves, which is what we find in today's population. And even in ours, we indulged in liquor and alcohol, the alcohol and the weed and stuff like that. But now we didn't say, oh, I'm doing this because I'm mad. This generation now is like, oh no, weed helps me manage myself. So I don't need Adderall or Prozac. I use weed to manage myself. This is what they said. And I'm looking like, I'm like, what? Weed didn't manage me, right? So where did this come from? Right? So that's the whole belief that because I smoke weed, it keeps me calm. These people are actively violent, but they keep telling themselves the weed helps them manage. No, the weed just is either bring you down or bring you up, right? Because weed ain't what it used to be, right? So how you get some weed that it brings you up? That ain't what it's supposed to do. Not natural. So it's so many things, right, that we can discuss. That's a whole nother show, right?
Don't get me started.
So
Because there's
I'm
a
not,
lot to
yes,
discuss.
I'm not for or against it. There are some situations where people use it for pain and stuff like that. Um, that's fine. Like I don't have beef with nothing, nobody doing anything. I'm just saying that we have to own our own issues first.
I think with the
Nobody's going to
weed,
do that for us.
I think with the weed, and just to briefly touch on the weed, I think with the weed is that, like you said, in its natural state, and when it can, when you're relying on it to get through your day, when you're relying on it to go to work, when you're relying on it to deal with your children, or you're relying on it to deal with your partner, it's probably not the best thing. If you can't get through your day without it, you might need to take a break. Um, so I mean that's too much of anything. And the weed that they're making nowadays, okay, if you want to talk about the lab made weed and the weed that's not necessarily natural from the ground,
Yeah.
man, I don't I wouldn't abuse that. I would not get deep into the lab grown weed. I know it has a nice color, it's purple with this, it got the frost on over it,
Yeah.
weed should have seeds in it. There should be seeds in your weed. This weed has no seeds, no type of, it's purple, green, yellow, patrice, it, when you're doing anything, I think it's important to be a little. You don't need it every day. You don't need it every 5 minutes. You don't need it every 5 seconds. But I think
Well,
that's what
you
is
need it
normal.
because what's in it is something to make you addicted to it, right? It's you don't know what's concentrated in it, right? So it's drugs are supposed to make you addicted, right? When I took Shahada in March of 1993, guess what happened? I went to my homies right? We were weed smokers. Like that's what we did, right? We were drinkers. I went to them, I said, I'm Muslim, I don't drink anymore. And never so everybody has difference, right? Your physiology is different. It affects everybody different. But I guarantee you that weed I smoked in 1992 ain't the weed
Mm-mm.
y'all smoking today.
Mm-mm. It's not.
So
It's
it has
you,
all types of stuff in it, and you don't even know.
and you don't even know. You can see it, you can smell it, you can feel it. I don't know, like it just like how you said from even a few years ago to now. And when you think about how things have kind of been monetized when it comes to the industry, you
Everything's
know,
monetized here. It's a capitalistic
everything,
society.
yeah, everything. So I think, yeah, we shouldn't be getting weed from anywhere and everybody, and oh,
I can't
it's all,
imagine pulling over on Route 1 or walking down on George Street going into a place buying weed. I would never do that. I don't even
yeah,
respect. It's scary. I'm
mm-hmm,
afraid of that stuff. I am
mm-hmm,
completely afraid. Call me a punk. I would never ever indulge in any of that stuff. I'm afraid. I am terrified. And some people have mental health issues as a result of it and don't realize it because
mm-hmm,
there's something in there. There's chemicals in this stuff. Just like the products we buy from the store. The food, the chemical products, it's all types of shit in there. The toothpaste, fluoride, and all this other stuff. They disguise all this stuff, and we know what these things do to you over a period of time. But yet, we're still making sure Colgate stay in business
mm-hmm,
versus using a natural alternative, right?
mm-hmm,
So we have to really start, and this goes back to what we started talking about, that vegan mindset, right? Of being natural, not just promoting veganism, just the whole idea of just being natural, right? I still eat meat, I eat chicken and stuff like that, right? But I do understand that the production of it is not, the process is not halal in this country, right? Even some of the Muslim so-called halal places have, they're raising animals like they do here in this country, and like it's scary eating that stuff, right?
mm-hmm,
So we all
yeah,
just as a community worldwide should be conscious because other countries don't allow certain products, certain chemicals and things, ingredients in their products. But over here in the US, it's open season, right?
mm-hmm,
You can go to Russia and there's certain things that's not in there in these same products that we have. They don't allow it,
yep,
right? So
mm-hmm,
so but we seem to think that we're elite and we're ahead. And we're not. We're just capitalistic, right? And then if you get sick, that hospital that I have stock in makes money. That pharmaceutical company that I have stock in, that's my friends, we all make money.
when somebody gets
I
sick.
keep you sick, right? And I make you feel like you have to go through these processes, right, to get better. We're winning all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you sell weed, I could lock you up. And my people own stock in that private prison. That's why they went private, so people can invest, right? So it's just understanding the whole element of what's around us. But violence is something that's always going to be, right? But but I understand that after becoming Muslim, I understood that violence is has to be in context, right? An eye for an eye. If somebody is trying
That's
to
what there are
harm
places
somebody
that
to harm me or my family, I have a right to defend myself from them,
mm,
right? So I'm not just running around bullying people, taking their money anymore. You know what I mean? So it's contextual. I'm not just fighting people because they live in a particular part of the city that that I think I own. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I never subscribed to that. Gangs never worked for me. Because I ain't listening to nobody. So the hell I look like. You know what I mean? Just the whole idea of joining something, you got to go under somebody and listen to somebody in person. So that never would have worked out. I would have had to fight every day up in that piece until I was in charge, right? Because I got to be in charge of me. Nobody else is in charge of me, you know. And when you start submitting to these vices, I call them vices, right? That vice is either helping you or it's hurting you. I just don't feel like today's what we're doing is not helping. So that's just my opinion. Honestly,
Well,
that definitely means, but the approach, man, it's many approaches, but you just have to get a person to a place where they can own themselves and be ready to fight those demons. That's kind of
yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah, I definitely I was wondering because, like I said, that was something that I struggled with even tackling in the beginning. Because I realized you can't really tackle the other problems without being affected by violence, without being affected by crime, because they're all interconnected. So, um, yeah, I think when I ask that question, I always get a different answer. But I'm appreciative of getting any answer because I would rather an answer than we're doomed.
Yeah,
Some people, oh, we're doomed. Nothing can help. We're just going. I don't like that. I think that the more people that change and the more people that change themselves and their mindset and their families, I think the more will create a kind of wave and a communal change and a social change. The same way when you're trying to create a new trend. Um, for example, when I was in high school, my school really drilled it into us that bullying was a no-no. That was
yeah,
like, no, no, we're not doing it. It's not cool. It's not. They had teachers every couple months. We had to go to the auditorium for a 3-hour seminar about bullying, and the way it was in the culture in our school was because of that, because of so much of that, because we saw the impact of the
yeah.
result of that. It was rare. Bullying was rare. It was when you saw somebody getting made fun of or bullied. That ain't cool. What you doing? Stop
Mm-hmm.
that. No, we don't bully over here. You just
That's
on
the
bullying.
beautiful thing.
That
Yeah,
was the culture in our school. The culture in our school was you don't mess with other people just because they may look smaller than you or you
yeah,
feel like you're bigger than them. That was the culture across the board. But in other communities, they had bullying problems. Other communities, kids killing themselves, and we were having issues and stuff. But it wasn't so bad in my school. So I think that when you create the trend that no, this isn't cool, this isn't cute, these are the results, and you constantly push that and you make it almost uncool to engage in that. I think that's when you'll see a change. And I think we even started to see that even just in certain communities when we're talking about what it means to be a responsible adult and take care of the family and take care of the household. I think a lot of people, whether you're on one side or the other, are starting um, to shift to what it means to be responsible, what it means to be a good person, what it means not to be selfish and not to take everything for yourself and to think about others. So I think we are seeing a shift in those type of attitudes. Um, but I think you're definitely seeing more people on one side or the other, and
yeah,
I think that's good because I think that'll be the foundation for seeing which way it will spread. Because you see things changing, you can see it already through social media, through day to day. If you just go outside, you can see our society's kind of shifting and changing. So I'm excited to see where we're going. I hope we're going somewhere good.
yeah,
But regardless, I think that Maymunah naturally will be doing its part in what it can do for the community and for its clients and for, for your skin. Um, and for our communities and stuff. So I'm excited for the next
No,
year, next
that's
year, and next season.
it's a beautiful thing, and my advice to you is always go in the direction and do the things right that make you feel good in terms of who you
Mhm.
be and not live up to anybody else's standard. You have to create the life that you want for yourself because what's ultimate is we're all going to depart the earth one day, right? Physically, we will no longer be here, right? The question will be when you leave, did you live on purpose the way that you chose to live? Or were you living the way somebody else wanted you to live, right? So I became a purpose driven young man and right after high school, but kind of got sidetracked with the streets, right? And then kind of found myself again after becoming Muslim. So, and you're going to go through all types of ups, downs, sides, and highs and lows. Like that's life. That's normal, right? When things happen to you, don't take it personal in the sense that why me? Like everybody has things going on. That's just the way life works. But if you have good programming, right? And you have good, healthy understanding of life and perspectives, right? Then you're able to maneuver around and figure all these things out without getting beat up too bad. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it's at. I like what you're doing, and just stay that path. And I'm here for whatever you need. You
You,
always call.
I'm here. I'm thriving. I'm living. I've definitely learned a lot within the past year. And I think that, life knocks me around a little bit, but I think that within that, when we talk about you found this, what Pakistan doing Muslim, found it Muslim.
Yeah,
Um, so you talk about your experience of finding Islam and that kind of helped you. Although I was already Muslim, my understanding of Islam was from a past perspective growing up, right? And I knew everything. I knew all the rules. I knew how to conduct myself. I knew even the why. I
yeah,
could tell why we do this, why they do this. But the past few years, I have really found what it means to have a personal and direct relationship with the Creator, where you are all alone and you feel like you don't have anyone and you need help.
yeah,
Who is there? So I really went through even what you could call supernatural stuff. If you would have told me, I would have been like, "Oh, you crazy." But even stuff where it's like supernatural stuff that's happened, where like, what? I just asked for this. I didn't even say it out loud, and it's here.
well,
I've been crying about this. I need help with this X Y Z, and it's here. The solution is here.
yeah,
So it's like I
yeah,
think that's really important. Anything that you do, I think developing your own relationship and community,
yeah.
um, Allah, the Most High, or whatever your religious
Yeah.
view
You
is.
have to know that there's a solution.
Mhm.
Always a solution. Everything was given to us. We came into the world. We had everything that we needed. Right?
Mhm.
To grow up thinking that you don't have it is kind of contradictory, right?
Mhm. But I had to find that. I had to find that for myself because like I said, I was always told that this is this and this is that, and I had no problem. Okay, this is what I believe, this is whatever. But when I got into the real world, and again, I've been in Jamaica, for a few years and now on my own, back and forth to Jamaica, kind of on my
Yeah,
own. Um, and now I have a son, and his father is wonderful. Um, but yeah, it's different. It's different than having your team behind you, having your physical team behind you. having that spiritual connection is very important. Having that, when you need help, what do you do? You sit down, read Quran, read the Bible, you do some dua. What do you do? Just sit in silence
Yeah,
because I had to find kind of my way of connecting, um, and that kind of helped me with my vision. It helped me with my vision for business. It helped me with my vision for what I wanted. Everything is kind of starting to get everything more clear when I actually put in my 50%
yeah,
or 20. Because they say that God meets you where you're at. So as long as you're doing that part, He'll meet you the rest of the way. So all these things I heard growing up, but I was like, okay, oh, I'm living it. I'm now living it. I'm now living physically the things that I was taught growing up. And when I tell you acting is different than words, when you read it, it's very, and when you hear someone say it, it's 10 times different than actually experiencing it. But I think that this is what is going to make me successful. I think this is supposed to happen on the vision, all the ups and downs that happen to me. I think this is all supposed to happen. It's all a part of this process. Um, and it's like I can almost see how being in this moment is where I'm supposed to be to get to my end goal. Um, so I think that's where I am for the end of the year. Um, that's
like I said, I'm gonna say these words to you: stay the
mhm,
path,
mhm.
no matter what. Right? It's like a ship being out in the middle of the sea, ocean, during the storm. You have no choice.
Okay, I got
You
that too.
have to figure it out, right? Because there's no way to go. You can't turn right and go left,
I
and
can't
you
go
gotta
back there.
so you gotta stay the
I
path.
can't. I
Because
can't turn
people don't finish what they start, and that's a
around.
right. So stay the path, finish what you start. And I'm looking forward to seeing you develop in the future, and thank
Well,
you.
you'll be seeing much more of me. I really appreciate it. You'll be seeing much more of me. 2024, like I said, I'm really, getting my products out there, shipping out, making sure I'm in stock, making sure we have everything that, all the products everybody loves, in stock and everything. And we're going to be just doing some really good things for the community. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, that's what's up. Well,
Mhm.
congratulations.
Thank you.
And
Thank
like
you.
I said,
Coming up here, when will you be gracing Jamaica
uh,
with your presence? When will you be coming out here? When are you gonna be
soon,
gracing
soon,
Jamaica?
soon.
If you really want to come out, like I said, you just let me know.
Definitely next year we on that, we coming out for sure. You
Actually, January 6th. Have you heard of the Acompo Marine Festival out here?
Nah,
All right, every year, January 6th, the Maroon people of Jamaica, so they're the original inhabitants. They're mixed with the original people of Jamaica and the slaves that were here who revolted. Um, they're completely independent. They have their own economy, their own military. They have their own borders. Like nobody can come into their borders at any time.
nah, that's
Um,
good.
and they're pretty much independent from Jamaica. So Jamaica government has no rule over them. Every year for New Year's, they have a festival where they invite, everyone to come out and, learn about their culture and their customs and everything. So if you are gonna come, that would be a great time to come. January
That's
6th.
good to know. Yeah,
It's really nice out there. They have a lot of really nice stuff. They have a museum out there as well. Dr. Umar is supposed to be gracing us with his presence this year, but rather in like a week or so. So I think he's going to be talking there.
oh, that's
Um,
cool.
they have a bunch of they have artists. politicians come out. Queen Africa, she was there. She's a reggae artist. Queen Africa was there last year. Um,
Now I need to get out there. I ain't never been there, so I'm probably one of the only folks I know that ain't been to Jamaica. I'm
yeah.
not, I need to, I'm so caught up in just doing what I'm doing. I feel like
Mhm.
God willing, if God permits me to live long enough to see the fruits of everything that I'm doing, then I can travel. But for now, like the work, I'm a worker. I'm caught
Mhm.
because you can take a break. Yeah, that's what you do, right? So what's important is I determine self-determination. I decide what's important to me. If I never make it there, plus, like it's not, I'm not going to lose no sleep, but it's definitely a place. One of my some of my
Mhm.
places I want to go, but I'm not making that travel thing a priority because every time
Mhm.
I stop what I'm doing, I'm aborting my mission, and
Wow.
that's how I operate. So I'm caught up, and because I'm a one man gang, until I could kind of formulate a network. I'm not even going to say a team anymore. It's not. I just don't see it. A network, right? A network that's going to feed my soul and help me grow what I'm doing. And because people come to me because I'm a network for them, right? But
Mhm.
I don't have that in return, right? So this is one of the reasons why I started this platform, so I can help people in a different kind of way without draining myself. So I have the
Are
platform.
you so you're just the podcast is on YouTube and you said you're also streaming on Instagram, Facebook, or you will be where are you streaming the podcast? Which
Well,
platform?
it's on Facebook and on YouTube. Um, like I said, with the Instagram link, it was something I was supposed to do, but it's I'll figure it
Are,
out next time.
are you on Clubhouse as well? Because I know some people
I'm
do
on
there.
Clubhouse, but that's on this platform. I'm not able to connect to Clubhouse, so
Mm.
that's something I'll look into. I haven't been in Clubhouse in like forever, but that's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still a community there. I would just wonder because I know, people have different platforms that they do their stuff on.
I
The
have
reason why,
yeah, I have a
the reason,
couple.
no, okay. I was just gonna say the reason why I like Clubhouse is, it's live. You can get a bunch of different ideas pretty fast. And you have just a wide range of people from all over, so you get a lot of different perspectives. Doctors come in, therapists come in, lawyers come in. So.
Yeah,
uh, you know, you might want. I mean, you might want to explore it, but
when I first
yeah,
got on there, I was all in. I even had a group on there, met
oh,
people, people were engaging and stuff, but that's a lot of work.
I know people who do it all day, every day, like all day
Yeah, I
long. They're
can.
on Club.
Let me
You
tell
got
you something.
challenges and people, but
That
all
one night I
day.
did it, I was up till 5, 6 in the morning. Still,
Yep.
people wouldn't stop talking. They kept coming into the group. I was like, oh no, I don't know if I could do this.
Yeah, they're in there all night. I kind of log off after a
Yeah, I
certain time.
can't do that. I
I
was
can't
like,
be
yeah,
on
I was
Clubhouse
like,
till
hey,
3 o'clock.
it's
I can't be on there till 3 a.m. But
yeah,
it is good
that's
for
definitely
networking.
a club.
It is good for networking. You can connect with a lot of people on there.
No, that's
But
cool though. I like it, but maybe I'll ease back in there. We'll see what happens.
one day, one day.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank
I
you.
think that was it. I don't think I had any more questions. Probably I'll definitely keep a lookout for your upcoming stuff. Like I said, I was checking out your YouTube. For those who don't know, he has a lot of information. He has a lot of videos. He has years and years of content. There's a lot of content up there, and it's worth watching. Kick back. Get some tea or something. Play it in the background while you're doing your hair or something. Longer videos nobody really want to watch. They don't want to sit there for an hour. But if you actually if you're subscribed to somebody's channel, they're doing podcasts, you subscribe to somebody's Patreon and they're putting out information, use that information. It's free. The internet is there. It's free.
That's
It's a lot of great information. People pay thousands of dollars for their therapist to tell them the same thing somebody going to tell you in a 20-minute video, but you don't want to watch the 20-minute video because you want to go do something in 5 minutes.
well,
So
we don't value free.
yeah, it really, there's so many people, like, not even so many, only a couple people, but I follow on YouTube and I actually follow their content and, they're teachers who've been working in the teacher position for 15 years or 20 years, or they're therapists, or they're this, and they have the information. They're marriage counselors. They're putting it out there. They're putting the information out there. And you're asking it, I need help, I need help, I need help. But the information is right there on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's right there on Google. Obviously vet your sources. Not everything is accurate, but I think your channel and maybe a select few other channels really have a lot of good information. About personal growth. Self awareness, spirituality. I think you even touched on manifestation a little bit. Manifestation is a big,
yeah,
topic nowadays. It's trending. If you actually listen to some of the videos, you're talking about manifestation, but you're not calling it that. It's actually a science.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just going to end it with that. I'm just saying go down the rabbit hole, check out some of this information, check out some of this stuff, and do more research into some of that stuff because it's out there, it's free, and you could do it. You're not doing nothing else anyway. Do it while you're doing your business. Do it while you go eat in the drive-thru on your way to work. We have free time. We can find free time. A lot of times we say we can't read books. Download an Audible. Can't read this book. Download Audible. Some people even put stuff on. If you don't have the money for Audible, go on YouTube. People read the book and upload it to YouTube, so you could just watch it on YouTube. So
Absolutely.
if you have Amazon, if you have Kindle, they they let you borrow books. If you're already on Amazon, you're already paying for Amazon Prime, you get a Kindle and you can borrow books for free.
Yeah,
So start putting some effort into your education and your sources and things like that if you're looking for information, or you need help with your mental health but you can't afford a therapist, or you need help with emotional intelligence and self awareness, or you're struggling with advice. People are out there. People are willing to help people. People want to help people. People like me, people like you, who have services for you. So just go out there and get it. And
absolutely.
that's
All righty.
the last thing because we went over time really bad.
No such thing. I
um,
always go with the
yeah,
flow. But thank
um,
you. Thank you. This was most enjoyable. And like I said, people, definitely you want these products. Follow her on all her social media. She's on Instagram. She's on Facebook. Check her website out. You can, I'm sure they can Google you. That'll come up.
it will. It'll come right up on Google. If you just type in Maymunah naturally, it'll come up.
Definitely. And thank you for coming aboard the Class and Session podcast. And make
Yeah,
sure you share this on all your platforms.
I will. I will. As soon as I get off here, I'm post it up. Thank
And,
you
you
so much.
and when you have like an event going on or something like that, like your next event, let us know, and then we can chime in and do a little something.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to collaborate with the same person who organized my community baby shower. We're in discussions about collaborating right now with one out here. That looks like it might be a little more long term because they're doing one now, so probably it'll be like uh, the next round.
Cool.
Um, so we're in discussions about that. So stay tuned for that community baby shower. Is
Definitely, definitely. You got to do that because that's what I'm all about. So I'm all
Yeah,
in. So just
and
like
I think it would be nice if we had some support for our fathers. A lot of times we talk about supporting our mothers and postpartum
yeah,
and everything. I think that's so important, but um, we neglect our fathers a lot, and they need they need help too. So I definitely want to put a focus on that as well.
I'm going to be doing a show about that. I wrote an article in college. So what I'm gonna do is it was called fatherlessness, right? And we was forced to write about it in school because it wasn't a thing, right? Everything's always about the mom. So it made us do some research. So I'm gonna do a show on fatherlessness, and I'm gonna read that the paper I wrote in college, and then we're gonna rock from there. I'm gonna go live and
You're doing a panel?
uh,
You're doing a panel on the subject with other fathers?
I said I'm gonna do a show on it. I'm gonna go live because
Oh,
I could bring people on, as I go. I can bring up
oh,
to I could bring multiple people in. Like people come in on the chat, I could bring them into the show.
oh,
So we're gonna get things rolling, but definitely, appreciate you. You enjoy your day. I love the natural sounds in the background. I like that kind of stuff because it's
mm,
real. Like people always like, oh, who edits your videos? Nobody. They're one take. Whatever you see is what you get. If I make a mistake, so what? Nobody's
mm,
but the creator. So that's how I roll. I like the realness of everything. That's why we call Class in Session podcast, because Class is always in session. It's real. What you see is what you get. Nothing is staged. Ain't no fugaziness going on over here. I'm not doing this for likes and trying to be like, I ain't doing all that. I'm just here for realness. If people want the real, this is where you come get it. So thank you, sweetie. We're gonna close out. And you enjoy your day, and keep me posted on what's going on. Then let me know when you headed back to the States too.
I will. I definitely will. I think it'll be soon. But I'll be back here because I'm pretty much here for the most part. Like I said, I ship out from here. So
Yeah,
I will hit you up when I'm back in town.
definitely. All right,
All
and we'll
right.
talk soon.
All right.
All right,
Um,
thank you. That was Maymunah's hair and skin products, the famous Amana Brookins. Please make sure you subscribe to Class in Session podcast and like and follow us on all platforms. This is your favorite host, the Urban Scholar. Peace out.